Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to work on fixing a MacBook. Let's see if we can figure out what's wrong with this MacBook and make it work again. To get started, hope you're all having a lovely day. Come to Tennessee, Louis says. G. Moody. You know, I went to Nashville in 2017 for a right to repair bill, and I'll be honest, I enjoyed my time in Nashville. To be clear, I didn't see the rest of Tennessee. You know, my friend grew up in Knoxville and Johnson City, and he's also gotten to see some of the less nice areas of Tennessee. I haven't explored the entire state of Tennessee, but I'll say that the 3 days that I spent in Nashville, the people were nice and courteous. The restaurants I went to were filled with nice people, good food, affordable, and everybody was nice to me. So, you know, I don't know much about Tennessee, but the time that I spent in Nashville, I enjoyed. All right, third time's the charm. So for those who are watching the edited version of this video, once it gets uploaded to the main channel, I have tried 3 separate times to grab a machine that doesn't turn on, and every time I try to grab a machine that doesn't turn on to fix, it turns on as soon as I put it on the desk. So this machine, the customer says it doesn't turn on, and if it turns on, I'm going home, I swear to God. All right, it doesn't. It's taking 21 milliamps, and we're going to take the board out of the case. Now, what does 20 milliamps on a MacBook Air usually mean? What does 20 milliamps usually mean? 20 milliamps usually means that that PM Sleep S4L is missing. And when it's corroded, it's usually an easy fix. When it's not corroded, it's usually a nightmare. So I'm going to hope that this is not a nightmare. Mr. Shifter says, fixed your mic, but not a MacBook yet. He's rubbing it in. Rub it in, man. Rub it in. Rub it in. I'm watching your old videos on what is a transistor. I love the way you explained it. The person who actually helped me with that is a channel called... Crap, yeah, I can't believe I forgot the name of it. What was the name of that channel? The name of the channel was... Electro, I think it was a guy named Doug at Steel Wheels Down. That's the name of the channel. I believe he is unfortunately now deceased, but it was a channel called Steel Wheels Down. And I didn't understand transistors very well, and no matter how much I read about them, for some reason I could never understand it. And then he explained transistors in a manner that made sense to me. And then once he explained it, I had the confidence to try and start figuring out how, you know, working on stuff. So I would, it's a good channel. And the thing is, I think it has, you know, like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers or something like that. But, you know, it really does go to show how, yeah, because I do wonder if he didn't make transistors easily accessible to me, if like the content like that was really, really, really basic, where you have someone who's an engineer level intellect just explain something in a manner where a dumbass like me can get it. If that didn't happen, would I be making these videos? If I wasn't making these videos, would I have 1.5 million subscribers? So a person that had like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers helped me create a channel that has 1 million and helped me, you know, so it's kind of like the butterfly effect. It's like the butterfly effect but in a positive way. So let's take a look at the board. All right, when you turn it around, there is immediate noticeable corrosion over here. You can see it immediately. And for those of you who were watching who are feeling generous, if you are feeling generous and you'd like to help people be able to spot stuff like corrosion on a motherboard or tell when they're fixing it what corrosion is important and what corrosion is not important, something that you could do that would be incredibly, incredibly helpful is contribute to the wiki at wiki2.rossmanngroup.com for Repair Preservation Group. Over here on the side, I have something that says visual inspections for logic board repairs. And on my visual inspection page, it goes over what different types of liquid damage look like, what types of vias are, or probe points or pathways are good, which ones are bad, which ones need attention, which ones don't, so that you like stuff like this, I need you to be able to see that if you're going to be able to do this type of work. And if you have guides on how to do board repairs for any type of device, or you have any types of guides that you believe would make it easier for other people to enter this craft and do this type of work, I would highly appreciate it if you contribute, because at the end of the day, the people who are going to take over this industry later, or the people who are going to follow in our footsteps, they're really going to be standing on the shoulders of the people that did something before them. So, again, that one channel where that guy with 1,000 subscribers explained the transistor really did lead the way for my channel with 1.5 million subscribers. And I want all of the stuff that's over here to make it easier for the next generation to figure out how all this stuff works. So everything that I go over in my videos and fixing boards and all that, I have put on here. And one of the areas that I've been a little bit sad over is that there hasn't been much participation here with people adding their own guides to this wiki. So if there's information on devices that you fix, so again, most of this stuff has been contributed by me at this point, where I go over all the different faults with all the different devices. But if there's a device that you repair that's not on here, any type of cell phone, any type of laptop, common flaws, common stuff, please do post it. It's going to help the next generation get started in this business. And honestly, one of the best feelings in the world is getting the next generation of people to relive the success that you live without going through all the haggles and the nightmare and the misery of figuring out everything with no help. So I'll just leave that there. And now that I'm done guilt tripping you all, let's take a look at what this looks like in the microscope and see if it's repairable. But yeah, that was just for the person who said that what my transistor video made things easier for them. I really do have to credit Steel Wheels Down because he's the one that made transistors make sense to me. So this is the TPS 51980. And this is going to create our 3.3 volt and 5 volt power lines, and it looks like crap. Admittedly, this is something where you don't have to open the schematic. You don't have to open the schematic. You can just work based on what looks broken and fix what looks broken until it works. Dr. Evil Genius says, hey dude, I watched the video you just put out. I was angry to see what the city is doing to your business. When the city F's with your business and those like yours, they F with mine as well. Yes, and the thing is, someone said that, that must be a misunderstanding. It's like, it's not a misunderstanding. I mean, Steve had a conversation with me when I came in, and he explained the manner in which the person was speaking to him, his mannerisms and all that there was no misunderstanding. He knew exactly what he was doing. And that's going to be fun. Someone says out of focus. It's not out of focus. It's fine. Now, if you want to say that there's smudges in there, there's smudges all over that microscope lens. But that is indeed fine. What is your economical situation now that Eugene is gone and time has passed? Hope it's all good now. Wish the best from Norway. Seems you've had a long day. Bud, burrito might cheer you up. I've been trying to do less carbs. So there's this one place nearby where I can get a bowl instead of a burrito, and I can get cauliflower rice instead of normal white rice. And I've been doing that to cut down on the carbs because I love carbs. I could eat 3 or 4 burritos a day, and it's something that's not particularly healthy. But so I've been cutting down on my carbs a little bit, so I haven't been eating the burritos as much. The economic situation, it's uncertain. I'll be honest with you. So, it's one of those things where you'll have a giant influx of business and then no business, or a giant influx of people who are really interested in paying for a service and then, they don't pay when it's time to pay the deposits. I don't really know where things are going to be going. Me personally, I'm doing all right. The business itself has seen better days. And obviously, hindsight being 2020, if I knew that that the entire business world and the economy was going to be destroyed in 2020, would I have moved to a place that costs more than twice as much in 2021? No. I may have, but this is not something that I imagine I could really anticipate. It would have genuinely been business suicide to give up it would have been business suicide at the time to give up the walk-in business, because the walk-in was most of the business. Even if I was going to stay in New York, what would have made sense at this point would have been to just get a warehouse somewhere. Or get some warehouse by Flushing Avenue in Brooklyn, where it's cheaper, where I can get a place the size of the store for half the price. And again, the plan at that point wouldn't be to stay in New York long term. It would just be, I have my employees, I have all the people that know everything, I don't have to retrain everybody immediately, and it's nearby, I get a bigger space for less money. You may lose out on some of the walk-in business, but it's that shit's gone anyway, so it doesn't really matter as much. Looks like you have to tell people not to jizz on their motherboards. Yep. That is... I don't know. I actually thought I was becoming less of a libertarian recently. And then... you know, maybe I'm not as much of a libertarian as I thought. Maybe it's just because I live in New York City that the spectrum is so far off. And then I got and then I took my road test at the DMV, and I figured out what the standards are to get a license. Because I always used to think the libertarians that were saying abolish the DMV, it's like, maybe you guys are going a little too far with that one. And then it's like, wait a second, it's that easy to get a license? You're kidding. It's that easy? Seriously? And then this thing happens within like a few weeks. It's like, yeah, never mind. I remember. Do you recommend the Atten over the Quick? I think that they're virtually identical, and the reason that I recommend the Atten over the Quick are for 3 particular reasons. Behind door number 1, the Atten may it shoots back less noise into the line, meaning that I used to say that the Quick would make my lights flicker, and the Atten does not. Behind door number 2, the Atten is cheaper. And behind door number 3, Atten has treated me better as a vendor than Quick has. So those are my 3 arguments for it. It's cheaper, less noise back, and all that. But again, I still have a Quick on my desk. Just to be clear, I have a Quick on my desk. The reason I have a Quick and an Atten is because I bought this Quick 4 years ago, and the Atten is not good enough to merit me taking the Quick off of my desk. I see them as virtually identical stations with very minor differences. So it's not like it's a real. I like that my lights flicker less with the Atten. I really do, but it's not. But like the lights flickering less is not worth me spending $200 or whatever something to get that over what it is that I have now. So if you have a Quick, it makes no sense to upgrade to an Atten or spend money to throw away your Quick for an Atten. It's not like, if you're going from a HAKKO FR801 to an Atten, like that's an upgrade, because you're going to get a lot more air for a much cheaper. You're going to get a lot more air and a lot more heat and more nozzle choices. But it's not like upgrade worthy, So if you have a Quick and you're debating whether you should get an Atten, by all means that doesn't make any sense. Unless you're really triggered by minor differences in your lights flickering when you turn on the Quick if you have crappy electricity in your office. Am I a crappy salesman or what? This is why I only lasted 45 minutes as a health insurance salesman. Alright, let me just refill my alcohol. We're just going to... So what I did there is I removed the components from the board that looked kind of nasty. I probably could have reworked some of them, but it's just not even worth it to me to bother. It's not worth my time. And I'd rather just replace everything that's in that affected area that even looks a tiny bit nasty, so that when I give this device back to the customer, I can be certain that they're never going to see me again. I prefer to not see my customers ever again. You fix their problem, and you fix it so that it's good for good. Okay, then after I did that, I added solder to all the different pads, and then I wicked it away just to get rid of all the junk and the old solder and the corrosion and all that icky crap, and now I'm just getting rid of some of the fibers from the Q-tip that I used. Alright, so now I'm going to grab myself a donor board. Now, what I like about the donor board, and why I like using the donor boards in these cases, is rather than have to look up the individual value of each resistor, each capacitor, each chip, I can just grab a donor, and then I can grab all the different parts that I need off of that donor and transplant them in a quicker fashion. So doing that is going to allow me to be more efficient, it will allow me to do more repairs in a shorter period of time, and it will allow the customer to get back to work faster, meaning that they will have a better impression of repair than they would if I was doing the job slower. And obviously, my preference is always that the customer have a higher, they think repair is a good option, not a shit option. Because at the end of the day, I can say all the things that I want to say about right to repair. But at the end of the day, what matters more than everything else is that customers actually want to bring us stuff. You know, customers are going to be the greatest advocates. People that want repair shops to succeed, contacting their politicians and voting in favor of these policies are going to be the people that help us succeed. And if we suck, then we're never going to get it. Is the chip you remove reusable? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't care. It had a bunch of water on it, so like if I don't really feel like reusing it. Again, if I reuse that, right? Let's say I reuse a chip that was next to a bunch of liquid damage, and the machine comes back in a week. Like, is it really worth it? Is it worth the $2 that I saved? You know, I want to do this job once and be done. Now, sometimes if you have a board that's completely and utterly destroyed everywhere, like, it's not going to be economically viable to do every single chip. So you may accept a slightly higher risk factor of it dying. Or you may accept if a board is completely effed from top to bottom, I'm not replacing every single thing on this. I'm just going to try and do some triage, figure out, you know, what's savable, what's not, what's the most efficient use of my time. But on this, it doesn't really make sense because I know it's not going to be a long repair job, so there's really no reason to do that. Because I can make it way closer to perfect with a very small amount of time investment. Mr. Rob Brown is here. We have repair royalty in the chat. Everybody say hi to Rob Brown. Rob Brown, how is the Department of Consumer Affairs in Kentucky? Do they walk in and issue you $15,000 summonses for not keeping record of purchases that you didn't make? That's going to be the most fun part of this hearing. I have to prove a negative. Maybe I should try and get some input from all of you as I'm fixing this board. How do I prove a negative? I have to prove to them that I didn't. How is that going to happen? I can't wait to prove that I didn't buy something from someone. Now, you may think that that soldering is horrible. But there's a reason that I'm doing it slowly. It's because I want to minimize the amount of heat that I'm putting there at any given time as I transfer each individual component. What I'm going to wind up doing is I'm going to use flux, and once I use some flux, everything there is going to shift into place immediately as I solder the main center IC on. Show the intake agreement with the abandonment clause that matches the alleged used device. Yeah, but how do I know which device belonged to which whatever? Like, every single one of those two machines up front, they have parts from like 5 different computers. I have to showcase that it came from 5 different, like, it's impossible. And some of those machines were left here like 3 or 4 years ago. It's a troll. What is the YouTube channel? I looked up his name and I couldn't find it. Oh, no you didn't. Come on. Don't lie to me now. Why would you not want to hear the board too much? I think you mean heat, but the reason I don't want to heat the board too much is I don't want to destroy the stuff that's around it. You always want to use the minimal amount of heat to get whatever job you need done. Because there are components around the component that you're working on that don't like heat. These components don't like heat. Like, again, this will tolerate heat. This chip will tolerate me putting it on the board at 400 or 500 Celsius, but that doesn't mean it likes it. It doesn't enjoy it. Look at all those resistors and caps up there, nicely sliding into place. Isn't that beautiful? Show them the invoice and you're just trying to get your money back for your work. What invoice? See, in that case, you're assuming that I know which customer those two machines in the front came from. And I have no idea, because those two machines are a hodgepodge of probably, 10 different... Like, the battery from this machine, the top case from that machine, the screen from this machine, the logic board from that machine. Once it's recycled, it goes into the garbage pile, and I often will keep the customer sticker on it just in case. Just in case, like after 3 or 6 or 9 months of calling them and they don't get back to me, I usually keep the sticker on there so that I can find it. If indeed they come back and they really want it, and I haven't sold it yet or used it for something. And as you can see from the picture, most of those machines are still just sitting there in the crap pile. But once I take the machines out of the crap pile, and I usually start with the oldest of the oldest, and then I take them out of the crap pile and I actually assemble them into something, at that point I have no idea which is which. And it's like there's no reason for me to keep track. Like, this machine came from these 3 or 4 persons stuff that left it here in 2017. It's like just pointless. That's not even what the city wants you to keep track of. They want you to keep track of when you purchase a device from a customer that walks in and says, "I wish to sell this to you." And I don't keep track of that because when people walk in and say, "I would like to sell this device to you," I tell them, "Go away. Shoo. Shoo. And take your stolen device with you." Shoo, 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 shoo. Shoo, shoo. I don't know how much I trust this clock chip. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Yeah, but that's pointless for Redmond, because it still doesn't allow me to say which customer it belongs to. Okay. Like, it's trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. The problem is that I don't submit when I purchase a machine. And I didn't purchase it. So that's where we are. Okay. So when I plug this in, ahem. Uh-oh. That's DC and looks like it could see in better days. Can you fix my marriage? Are you kidding? There's actually a guy asking me for relationship advice on Discord the other day, and I just like, are you kidding? You're asking the wrong guy. You must want your relationship to fail. Alright. Make you a nice cable. And you are exactly where you were before. Exactly where you were before, no change. Was I correct when I said that clock chip looks suspect? Did I forget to put something back on the board that belongs there? Let's see. I'll take a look at another donor. I did, didn't I? I'm missing something. I did forget to put something back on there. I did. I knew it. Louis, I want to be like you when I grow up. No, you don't. You want to... I still think I probably shouldn't trust that clock chip, but I'll give it a shot. Okay, I plug it in. Bada bing, bada boom. 500 milliamps and fan spin. Look at that beautiful fan spin. That is some lovely fan spin, if I say so myself. I love myself some fan spin. That is a fixed MacBook right there. That is a fixed MacBook. Let's do some math. That is a fixed MacBook. I only have to fix 60 to 100 more of those to pay the fine that I have. 60 to 100 more and I will break even on this crap. Yay. So that's about it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. And please do remember, if there's any content that you have learned from all the time that you've spent working at your desk in the repair industry that you believe would be helpful to someone starting out in the same position that you started out in, please do consider going to wiki2.rossmanngroup.com and being the author of an article. Anybody can join, anybody can make an article, and you can speak to me in Discord about it if you have any questions. What I want to do is make something that makes it easier for people to access and take part in difficult repair work like this, that allows customers to get working devices back and people like me and others to make an income who are starting out. Highly appreciate everybody who can help me in that project. Thank you so much for the person that started adding to the iPhone section, and thank you to the people who have made some additions to the MacBook section. At this point in time, I'm the one that's doing most of the work on that site, and I really would like to see more people who are smarter than me, who know stuff in the other niches of repair where I may be a little limited or lacking in knowledge, can contribute so that more people can fix devices, be happy. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.